Ever found yourself scratching your head over a string of numbers on an electrical device? Like, what is 87A? Or 30? Are these some kind of secret code? Well, in the world of electrical control, these numbers aren't random at all. They're part of a standardized system that helps us understand how relays work. And today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of relay numbers. We're going to decode this numerical language, and by the end, you'll be able to decipher these codes like a pro. Think of a relay as a tiny electrical switch. It's used to control a circuit, and it does this by using another, smaller circuit. Imagine a light switch in your house. You flip the switch, and the light turns on. A relay is kind of like that, but instead of you flipping the switch, it's another electrical signal that does the work. Relays are essential in all sorts of applications, from industrial automation and robotics to the car you drive and even the appliances in your home. They allow us to control powerful devices with smaller, more manageable signals. Now, why do we need numbers? Well, relays have different parts, and these parts need to be connected in specific ways. To make things clear and avoid confusion, especially when dealing with complex circuits, a standardized numbering system was developed. This is where relay numbers come in. They act as a universal language, allowing electricians, engineers, and technicians around the world to understand how a relay is wired and how it functions. So, let's break down the key players in this numerical drama. We'll start with the most important, the coil. The coil is the part of the relay that creates the magnetic field. When electricity flows through the coil, it becomes an electromagnet, which then pulls a switch, completing or breaking a circuit. Think of it as the muscle of the relay. In our number system, the coil is usually represented by terminals labeled A1 and A2. Sometimes you might see them as 85 and 86, but A1 and A2 are becoming more common. These are the points where you connect the control circuit, the signal that activates the relay. Next up, we have the contacts. These are the actual switching parts of the relay. They're the parts that make or break the connection in the circuit being controlled. Contacts come in different types, and each type has its own set of numbers. We have normally open, NO, contacts, normally closed, NC, contacts, and common contacts. A normally open contact, as the name suggests, is open when the relay is not activated. The circuit is broken. Think of it like a drawbridge that's raised. No current can flow through. When the relay is activated, the coil becomes energized, the magnetic field pulls the contact closed, and the circuit is completed, allowing current to flow. The numbers associated with NO contacts are typically in the 13 to 14, 23 to 24, 33 to 34 series, and so on. The first digit indicates the contact number, first, second, third, etc., while the second digit indicates the state of the contact. In this case, 3 or 4 indicate a normally open contact. Now, let's talk about normally closed contacts. These are the opposite of normally open contacts. They're closed when the relay is not activated. The circuit is complete, and current can flow. Imagine that drawbridge now lowered, allowing traffic to pass. When the relay is activated, the magnetic field pulls the contact open, breaking the circuit and stopping the flow of current. Normally closed contacts are usually numbered in the 11 to 12, 21 to 22, 31 to 32 series, and so on. Again, the first digit indicates the contact number, and the second digit, 1 or 2, indicates that it's a normally closed contact. Finally, we have the common contact. This is the contact that's shared by both the normally open and normally closed contacts. It's the point where the switching action takes place. The common contact is usually numbered as 10, 20, 30, and so on. It's the pivot point of our drawbridge analogy. So, let's put it all together. Imagine you see a relay with terminals labeled 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. You also see A1 and A2. Based on what we've learned, you can deduce that A1 and A2 are the coil terminals. Terminal 10 is the common contact. Terminals 11 and 12 are the normally closed contacts, and terminals 13 and 14 are the normally open contacts. When you apply a voltage to A1 and A2, the coil energizes, and the connection switches from 10 to 11 and 10 to 12 to 10 to 13 and 10 to 14. You've successfully decoded the relay's numerical language. But the numbering system doesn't stop there. Things can get more complex when we deal with relays that have multiple sets of contacts, or when we're working with specialized relays used in specific applications. For example, you might encounter relays with double-throw contacts, also known as changeover contacts. These contacts have both a normally open and a normally closed position, and they switch between the two when the relay is activated. These are often labeled with a combination of the numbering conventions we've discussed. Another important aspect to consider is the relay's function. Different relays are designed for different purposes. Some are used for switching high currents, while others are designed for sensitive electronic circuits. The numbers on the relay can sometimes give you clues about its intended use. For instance, a relay with contacts rated for high voltage and current is likely used in power switching applications. Understanding relay numbers is crucial for anyone working with electrical circuits. It allows you to quickly and accurately identify the different parts of a relay, understand how it's wired, and troubleshoot any problems that may arise. It's like learning a new language. Once you understand the basics, you can start to decipher the more complex conversations. And in the world of electrical control, relay numbers are the language of the circuit. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.